What's going on? I want to have a conversation with my fellas. I think that we living in a world now where as though you start to see a lot of guys that are like off right now. Like they can't quite figure their lane out, and their lane is not a lane that they feel comfortable to be in. And I'm talking about like dealing with life situations today. Like, and I know this for a fact because I grew up with just my mom. So I know what it's like to grow up sometimes, and sometimes you feel like you ain't got nobody to talk to or anybody to, talk about how you feel. Because a lot of times as guys, we joke around a lot. We talk about a bunch of bull crap that will make you feel like you're uncomfortable to talk about certain things. But I think we really do have to change up and really start to understand that we do need each other. You got your ladies and whatnot, but at the end of the day, ladies don't understand what a lot of men go through today mentally. And I think this is a time right now in their life that a lot of guys have to wake up and realize that we are in a point now in our lives that we have to actually strive for better. I can say this, I am guilty of effing off my 20s. I'll tell you that right now. I effed my 20s off, but at the same time, I always had my own. I had my own car, and I did that because I grew up seeing a certain type of. I grew up in a certain type of culture, whereas though you seen guys getting it and whatnot. Not to say that I was trying to follow everything, but I end up doing some things that I shouldn't have done. But at the same time, I am considered a good guy. No matter how you might look at it. I didn't, I'm going to just say this. A lot of guys right now finding themselves getting into the life of crime, scamming, doing all type of crazy stuff. Because when we grow up, no one teaches us the right path to go. And the reason why they don't teach us the right way is because we're being raised with a bunch of women. I'm not blaming women, but I'm just saying that when you look at the world we live in today, you see a lot of women raising the boys and the girls. And you got women growing up thinking that mom is Superman. For some odd reason, mom can never be Superman. Mom can be mom, but at the same time, if you don't have your father around, then you start looking at things a lot different. Like the boys don't know how to line themselves up and straighten up when they don't have a male figure around that'll straighten them out. My grandpa was around, so he was the one that put me back in check. Once a boy gets to a certain age, about 12, 13 years old, he's normally a lot bigger than his mom in some cases, in most cases. Girls start looking at their mom like they're in competition. I've seen it. Have all sisters, no brothers. So you start to see that, and then you see moms starting to look at their daughters like, yo, who you think you talking to? Next thing you know, smack. Now they fighting. I remember a time when my sister actually called the cops on my mom. Hey, I'm going to keep it real with you. Even I was like, damn, she tripping. But I remember when they had it out, next thing you know, my sister is older than my little sister, of course, my little sister. And she ended up feeling like, well, wait a minute, you back in mommy. Who you think you talking to? And this is when my sister was like, I guess she was around like 14. My other sister, we 8 years apart. So she's older than my younger sister. Next thing you know, they got it in. And one of the things that I noticed, everybody has the same, not everybody, mostly, a lot of kids today growing up the same way. They got mom doing everything, and they look at mom as, yo, why you talking to me like this? But mom is tired. But at the same time, a lot of guys out here are being was raised by their moms and their grandmoms. So when they grow up, they don't know how to actually handle life changes, how I would say, unquote, how a man would normally handle it. We don't really know how. I end up learning when I had to take a break from my mom. That's when I end up growing up. Me and my mom had a clash. And that clash, we end up not talking for almost a year. All because of something that happened that made me realize, oh yeah, this ain't, I can't operate like this. And then you start to realize you cannot become a son husband. You got to change that up. You got to be like, yo, I'm not with that no more. I'm not. You got to respect me. You cannot talk to me this way. You're not operating that way. We're not doing that like that. And then when you start to grow up and realize that, you end up realizing that it's time to actually start to change your mentality. A lot of us think as men, we got to have the flashiest car. I am guilty. I done had a lot of cars, from BMW to Lexus, all type of, you know what I mean? I had the different stuff. Don't even matter. None of that shit means nothing now. As you get older, you realize investments. Right now, I'm inside my duplex. This is the gym. I have everything up here. Up here is set up comfortably for me to be able to work out. I got my mirror, everything up in here. Fitness is important for men. Tell you that right now. Fitness is very important for men. If you think it's not, you are poorly mistaken. And the reason why I say you're poorly mistaken is because if you're not working out, that means you're getting lazy and you're building nothing about yourself to say, hey, I take myself seriously. You ain't got to be all cut the hell up, but you got to be able to handle yourself. You know what I mean? We had a couple guys at work that fell last week during the snow. Like we was cleaning up, like by me being by the job I do, we had to go in and clean the trucks off. And I fell. And when I fell, I got up, was not hurt. One of the reasons why I was not hurt is because I take fitness seriously. I work out. So me falling on my butt did not hurt me. I got up, I laughed it off. We had two guys that fell. They both got hurt. And when I say they got hurt, one of them had a fall that was not that, well, to me, it didn't seem that serious, but got hurt. And one of the things I noticed about life, when you ain't utilizing those muscles, those stretches, you're doing all type of little things with your body, putting your body through that type of stress, whereas though you can lift, pull yourself up, doing pull-ups and whatnot, your body will be conditioned to be like in almost lazy mode, whereas though if you slip or something, or you pull something, it's easy because you don't stretch. And this is where we at now. We at a point now where we don't see men really taking themselves seriously. And I understand that some men right now might even listen to this and say, "Yo, but you don't know what we're going through. We don't have time." Look, dog, nobody's going to save us. And if tough love has to happen, tough love has to happen. Because we're at the point now where as though we got so many excuses. At the end of the day, sometimes a lot of us got to take a break from the females. I'm going through a divorce. I get it. I know what it's like. And I'm going through one now. I am happy. But at the same time, this is when you realize in life you have to wake up. You got to realize that, yo, I got to make certain changes. I can't do the same stuff. I got to look at stuff differently. You can't have a female coming over your crib, busting them all. But you know what I mean? No, I ain't going to say busting them all. But you can't have all that. Can't be wilding out no more. Because when you got stuff to lose, you start to realize that a lot of dudes fall into the category of popping out a kid, get to a point where as though you got, you know what I mean, a certain amount of females around you, and you putting so much energy out, going out on dates. You thinking that when you tapping them, you doing something, but at the end of the day, you ain't doing nothing but wasting useless time where so you could have built yourself up to do more. No, I learned in life that once I got past a certain phase of life and I started to realize, yo, I'm doing the same thing over and over again, I'm going into the same cycle, you realize that when you get to that certain point, it gets tiring. And it's not just tiring, it's boring. Because you get to a point where as though you can't compete with yourself over and over. It gets to a point where it's like, yo, all right, I got to make certain changes in my life because my life is not going the way as I wanted it to go. Like I know a lot of times when you on, I'm not going to say the platforms, when you're on different platforms, it's always preached to you as a guy, you need to make money. You need to be rich. If you're not doing this, you broke. And listen, look, man, you got to sometimes fade that out. Everybody ain't made to be rich. Everybody ain't made to wake up and say, hey, I'm going to take over the world. Man, you got to do what's in your guidelines. If you making 60, 70, 80,000, you're not broke. You just have to operate efficiently with your money and spend it smart. You know, when I made around, what 55, 60 something thousand, I was living like I was rich. Was broke as hell, paycheck to paycheck. And then you get to a point where it's though you're like, yo, this ain't as fun as I thought it was. Like, it's not, because even now, you think about the club scene. The club scene only allows you to operate within the guidelines of you going to the club, buy drinks, but before you even bought the drinks, you had to pay for to get your car. You had to pay to have your car parked, or you park it. Going to the club, you're getting smacked over the head for about $30, $40, depending where you're going to. And then if it's a popping night, they might charge you $50 or $60. And don't go on New Year's. You about to get random. So when you look at stuff like that, it's an endless cycle of just wasteful spending. And then what happens is, as a guy, I can't speak for a female, but I've seen females do it. I go in the club, only been in the club for about 5 minutes. John walk up, next thing you know, she like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, yo, what's up? Now, at the end of the day, I don't think I'm a bad dude. All my chicks, well, I ain't gonna say all my chicks. I'm gonna just say, every person I've ever been in a relationship with, I'm pretty nice. But don't matter. At the end of the day, females find somebody that they feel as though is attractive, but at the same time, they come over and they like, hey, what's up? And next thing you know, you busting up with them. What you think they doing? They lining you up. So I ain't gonna say line you up, but sometimes they are. And they like, yo, can you buy me a drink? And then sometimes they get a little slick with it. Hey, me and my friend, you know what I mean, such and such, can you buy me and her a drink? I remember this one night, I don't know, I wasn't for it. And I remember telling this John, yo, I'm cool. And she looked at me, you cool? As soon as I said, I'm cool, she said, yo, cool. She's like, damn, you can't buy me a drink? And I looked at her, I just turned my back. And she said something else to me. And then as she went to, like, I don't know what she was talking about. I don't know what she was on. But she said something. And as she went to whisper something, I leaned over, I said, hey, mom. I said, yo, back the fuck up. Like, leave me alone. And she, I guess, read that energy that I'm not the one. She ain't going to be smacking them. I'm not that dude. You ain't smacking me. And I knew right at that time, that's the first time I ever encountered a shorty ever talking to me that way up in the club. No, I ain't never had that. That's because I ain't going to say turned her down, but I said no to me buying her a drink. And I wasn't even really busting up with her like that. Didn't even know her. That's why I tell you, man, as guys, man, we got to move away from always chasing and doing all these things, because at the end of the day, what you will start to realize is you start to gain more life when you start doing stuff like going places. Like, I went to the car show last year, and instead of going to Philly, I was like, yo, me and my son gonna go to New York. Since I'm in Jersey, I live in Jersey. I'm like, going to New York. We rolled out, went to New York. We went to the car show, bought the tickets, hit the car show around, 5:30 in the evening. Could have went a lot earlier, but I decided to go when it was getting towards dark. And me and my son had a ball, had fun. And that's how I operate. I do a lot of stuff with my son, because at the end of the day, I move at my own beat. I don't waste no more time no more. If I feel like relaxing, I relax. When I need that mental relaxation, when I don't want to be bothered, I don't be bothered. I just don't answer the phone. I get a stupid text message from somebody, I ignore it. If someone asks to borrow money, I say, yo, I ain't got it. If they say, yo, but such and such, I leave them on unread. And I don't block them, but I just don't, I just delete the text. It's not hard saying no. But where a lot of times as guys, when no one teaches us how to operate, I don't like to use the word real man, because for some odd reason, people don't understand what it's like to be a real man. Being a real man don't mean we all operate the same, but it does mean that we uphold ourselves to a certain standard that make us operate differently. You know what I mean? We don't all operate the same, but we do have certain things about us as men that you can't do. You can't just be walking up, smacking all on us. You'll see certain guys that say, as a real man, I just walk away. Well, guess what? You got some real men out here that'll smack the dog life out of a mug and don't think twice. You know why? Because men cannot take abuse like that. I don't know if anyone ever told you, men cannot take abuse like that. I've never been in a world where I see men take abuse like that and be able to get up and walk away. You know why? Because what end up happening is he's going to snap. This is one of the reasons why you see guys, when everything look cool and dandy, everything is sweet and smooth, all of a sudden, everybody's getting off. He goes to the lady job, and then he done did something, whereas though she can't come back from, because now she about to have a funeral, because she done did something dirty to do. And I know a lot of times females be like, but what did he do? We men, I'll tell you right now, we build the infrastructure, we can burn it down. And we can take it down. All it takes is a group of men. A group of men can take down anything. Think about that. You got the SEALs that can go in, 10 of them, and execute. Get the hostage, probably kill a couple people in the middle of it. You got Delta. Delta sometimes run in like 3 or 4 packs, something like that. I think it's something like that, 3 or 4. They don't run that many, and it's not that many of them. But what do? Cause confusion and destruction. They went over to another country and was able to get dude just like that. Men run things. For some odd reason, we've been lied to thinking that women run things. It's not a it's not a bash. It's not a bash on women. I'm not doing that. But this is the problem. We live in a world now where they don't allow women, allowed women to think that they can talk, do anything they want when they can. It's all on purpose to make men feel belittled. Men are now, not all, but a lot of men are starting to wake up and realize that we're not operating that same way. A lot of us, I've been stopped operating a certain way. You start to realize you got to take yourself out the game and put yourself on a video game that's actually to success. And when I say success, everybody ain't made to be rich, like I said before. It's about doing things that's going to line up with you. And when I say line up with you, you got to be able to wake up every day and be like, yo, I like what I'm doing. I like the company that I'm starting up. I like that I'm starting to invest in myself. You can listen to all these other people. You want to become rich. Stop leading with want to become rich. I ain't rich and I on this. You know, at the end of the day, I'm in my gym. Next right here, I'm on my 3rd floor. That's my gym. It's a full gym. I have everything in here. Next room is my office. So, and then downstairs, my son down in the living room, and I got the kitchen and the 2 bathrooms. So all together, I have 4 bedrooms. I did this by myself. Help don't always come. And sometimes when you think you need help, it never comes. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But in most cases, especially for the guys, help won't come. When you put up here and know that help won't never come, you'll realize that what am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? I ain't doing nothing but wasting time. So along with wasting time, you realize that you'll become 30, then 40, then 50, then 60. Yeah, you like how I went in about 10, right? Because that's how quick life goes by. You graduated yesterday. And when I say yesterday, I'm talking about damn near 10 years ago. And you realize you damn near 28, 29, about to be 30. And you're like, damn, what did I do? Nothing. That's how quick life can pass you by when you just F it off and not realize that help is not going to come. No one is going to be able to save you. Your mom cannot hold you up forever. Cannot. Be safe. All right? And fellas, wise up. It's time to straighten up. All right? Be safe. Like and subscribe. All right.